The Dutch Republic. The 17th century is known as the Golden Age of the Dutch Republic. This is when we will see much wealth, and the Dutch, for example, settle in the New World, create New Amsterdam, and become the dominant mercantile and financial players in Europe. By mercantile, merchants, right? They'll be the largest ship owners and movers of cargo and things like that. And they will be the financial center. The Bank of Amsterdam will be very prominent. And in fact, will be the dominant bank in Europe all the way till the French Revolution. Or actually Napoleon, rather, when they all invade and that goes bad. So with all this wealth coming from trade, coming from finance, banking, we're going to see a golden age in the Dutch Republic. All sorts of paintings by Rembrandt, Vermeer, Frans Hals. These are the paintings that we looked at, at I think both museums we went to. Now, the Dutch are going to be dominated by these merchants, okay? So they won't have a king. They'll have these merchants that will basically control the cities like Amsterdam. And the power of the actual leaders, the political leaders, which are known as the stadholders, the power of these stadholders will be dependent on whether they're at war or not. So when there's not much war going on, the stadholder will be weak, and basically merchants will be controlling what goes on. Whereas when the Dutch are threatened by war, then the stadholder who controls the army will have more say. And the stadholder's from the House of Orange. Yes?
Is this like when the middle class becomes like more powerful than the nobles? Is it here?
Yeah, we see this here. We see this in England too, the growing middle class in England during the 18th century, during the 1700s. We see this in France as well. But we do see this here in the Dutch Republic, right? It's got a very strong middle class. So most of the paintings that we'll see will be images of middle-class families or middle-class interests, like ships on seas, shipbuilding, and things like that. That will be middle-class endeavors. Yes. So the middle class will dominate more or less the Dutch Republic. Now the House of Orange, this goes back to William of Orange, who led the Dutch revolt against the Spanish way back when. And so basically, the House of Orange has this position of stadholder. And the Dutch will get in a series of wars with the English and the French. With the French, the wars of Louis XIV, which we already discussed. With the English, they'll get in a series of wars over trade on the seas. The English will pass the Navigation Acts, which will basically require that any trade between or into England or English colonies be conducted on English ships. And this will hurt Dutch commerce, because the Dutch have been involved in trading between England and France, or England and America, or America and France. All these areas, the Dutch were, huge in this commerce. So the English Navigation Acts will hurt the Netherlands. And also, England and the Netherlands will go, or the Dutch Republic, what's today the Netherlands, will get in a series of wars. And for example, in one of those wars, the English will take control of the Dutch colony called New Amsterdam, and they'll rename it New York. Instead of New Amsterdam, this Dutch city, they'll rename it New York after this region in England. So the first half of the 17th century sees the Dutch as the dominant mercantile power, right? They're sort of dominant in overseas trade, in shipping, commerce. And then by the second half, we'll see England and France will both be larger countries that will check their power and surpass them. But the Dutch will remain a major center of commerce and a major center of finance, right? The banking in the Amsterdam will remain large.